Doing different things, it's mind blowing. Be able to
Mhm.
just take a couple of deep breaths and change your, quite literally, your outlook of everything
Yes.
is
Yes.
is magnificent. And it's something like we've been seeing for years and years, hundreds of years, thousands of years, with meditation and other religious practices and stuff like that. And I feel like it's now starting to gain more traction where it's
Hmm.
being implemented with, again, a scientific aspect and a
Hmm.
scientific lens to it within our medicine that we use and practices. It's just eye opening.
Hmm. Yeah, and I don't know how many times I've recommended this book, and on at least on this podcast, it's been at least twice at this point. But there was a book by James Nestor. It's called Breath, and it was all about like him deep diving into the science and looking at all the people. Like he went from freedom divers, the ones that go without oxygen tanks and beating world records, getting below the water, to people like you're saying in the ICUs with iron lungs and this and that, and just sort of studying all the effects of breathing and breath. And it was something that was extraordinary for me to learn and really dive into. Then I started looking at some stuff from the Oxygen Advantage, Patrick McEwen, and then there was a guy named Brian McKenzie from Shift. It's just fascinating how much of an influence it has, on your stress, on, let's say, your anxious thoughts, the way your body functions, how tight you are. There's a number of different influences. And I think, as you're saying, it's just now becoming a little bit more mainstream, a little bit more accepted that we can affect change by affecting change in your breathing alone.
Of course, you can tell anyone what's your biggest fear, and they'll
Mhm.
say heights or whatever. But I can guarantee you, if you've ever had an asthma attack or you've ever got winded and you can't catch your breath,
Mhm.
how much of a panic state that puts you in.
Mhm.
Now, again, that is obviously an extreme, but imagine what that does in micro doses to yourself
Yes.
if you can't breathe properly, if you're not taking the required breaths that you need. Now, imagine what that does in a week or a month during a stressful situation or something. What does that do? Again, it's not most problems that I see within the physiotherapy spectrum. It's not a traumatic injury. Yes, okay, you see traumatic things. Most of it is chronic. It is small changes that add up to a different adaptation of the human body and the way it works.
Mhm.
And like you were saying, breathing, it's the smallest thing you can
Yeah.
change in an instant.
Yeah. And so when someone tells me they don't have time to make changes in their life, I mean, it doesn't take that much time to just change your breathing. It takes seconds, mere seconds, nutrition, influencing your sleep. Yeah, maybe you can't get your full workouts in. Maybe you can't do everything that you should do in quotations, but you can do something. And this, again, returns back to this internal locus of control. You're always one decision away. You're always one action away. You can and you have control over these things to make changes in your life and to live a more fulfilled life.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like sometimes just being aware of these things, whether it's your breathing or whether it's, oh, I got a big meeting tomorrow. I got to get a couple extra hours of sleep, or whether you're reaching for, a soda pop and you're like, well, you know what? I kind of cheated on my lunch. Let's go for the glass of water this time.
Mhm.
Being aware of those small things and being able to consciously make those decisions will change you as a human being, yourself, your outlook, your perspective, everything.
Mhm.
Small changes add up to big results, and I'm a big believer in that, whether it's with exercise, whether it's with rehabilitation, whether it's with personal growth, mental growth, whatever. Right? Rome wasn't built in a day. You cannot expect to see changes all at once. Right? When I was more in depth with personal training and stuff like that, and when people come in and are like, oh, I need to lose 20, 50 pounds in 2 months, and I'm like, well, it didn't take you 2 months to put on 50 pounds.
Mhm.
It's gonna take you more than 2 months to put it off.
Yeah.
And same with those life changes and those things. It it's going to take a while to change that, but as long as you are prepared and you are aware of things that need to be done, things will happen, but it doesn't
Mhm.
mean that they're going to happen passively. You have to be active. You have to
Yeah,
be present within those life changes, whether it's within a rehabilitative state, whether it's within a, changing, again, external to internal locus of control. It's just, again, small changes add up to big results. Big believer in that.
absolutely.